Today, I'm going to talk about at least 5 ways that we are talked out of who we actually are. And are you living your own life? Hey, everyone. My name is Rashni. I am a content creator, a special needs mom, a life coach for Black and West Indian women, and a Black woman healing. I create humor filled healing spaces so that other Black women can heal too. I am live on YouTube and LinkedIn. I don't know if I'm live on Facebook. Let me take a second and check because I don't think the technology is technologying and I have not been live um, in a month. So I'm a little discombobulated. So bear with me because I'm not live on Facebook. Let me go ahead and grab the YouTube link and drop it on Facebook. Give me 1 second, you guys. And do. Talk amongst yourselves. Okay. Well, actually, let me say that I have not been live because we are in surgery season. Okay. If you have listened to me talk, Um, I have said that my son was scheduled for a surgery that he was slated to have for years, honestly. And we have had it scheduled on the books for since last year. And it, for all kinds of reasons, lots of reasons. Um, Boom, I just dropped it on Facebook. For all kinds of reasons, my son's surgery kept getting pushed back. So I have not been live for a month. And, and I'm going to tell you guys more about what happened with my son's surgery, but I'm not going to do it on this live. So stay tuned. I'll tell you more about when and where that'll be happening. Okay. But today I want to talk about ways that you have been talked out of living your own life. So let me tell you what happened, why I'm even asking this question. I have a group on Facebook for called Find Your Light. It's over 800 women. And I dropped in there the question, when were you talked out of who you were? That's all I asked. And it was fascinating to me because someone said when they got married is when they were talked out of who they were. Somebody said a long time ago. Somebody said they were talked out of who they were in the early days at their old church. Somebody said that around when they were 7 years old. And I said that I had been looking back on my life, I had been talked out of who I actually am pretty much my whole life. And it wasn't until my mid 30s that I was like, wait a minute, whose life is this? And what is going on? So I decided to jump on today and ease back into going live with you guys. Hi, Olalinka. I hope I said that right. Happy Friday. Listen, the fact that it's even Friday, who knows what day it is? Okay. Your girl is so discombobulated from staying in the hospital for weeks on end. Hi, Jay Flan. Thank you. I'm back, baby. She back. We made it through surgery season. Okay. I'll explain to you guys a little bit. Audacity. Okay, your name is cute. You better have some audacity. I hope that's positive audacity that you have audacity. Hi, Alicia. I love you. Okay, so you guys, we're gonna talk about whose life you're living. Are you satisfied with the life you're living? And if your girl seems discombobulated, I've explained to you why. I don't even know what's going on with my technology. I feel so confused about the computer. But that was the reason why I wanted to talk about this because when I asked the question, Audacity said sometimes, well, listen, sometimes you have to remind yourself that audacity is what you need. Because real talk, audacity is what you need to show up in your life in these systems that we're in, where everybody else is trained to have audacity. Amen. So I hope your own name is blessing you like it's blessing me. All right. And it's a reminder for the rest of us to go above and beyond with our belief in self. Because a return to self is what healing is. Anyway, I already went off the rails, but that's the point. So the reason I ask people the question of when were you talked out of who you actually are is because I realized that unless you are a rarity, Most of us, especially my audience, which is Black and West Indian women, we are all talked out of being ourselves by someone, by a system, by a well meaning person, sometimes a not well meaning person. And for me, being a Black woman healing has meant a homecoming, like Dr. Thema says, a returning to myself, a realization that I knew me this whole time. Hi, Marissa. Oh, Marissa, look. Wait, okay. Wait, oh, okay. Oh, wait, okay. Wait. I can't point. Marissa, look. You see? Oh, look, it's that Sata. I put, okay. I know I'm supposed to use, Marissa sent me that pineapple. My coordination is trash right now. I put it up there because we were on the way to hospital, and I was like, I don't know what to do with this pineapple just yet, so I'm gonna just put it in the. Okay, okay. Did you see it? You see her? Okay. All right. Focus. Let me hydrate for a second. So I asked the question because I realized all of us are talked out of ourselves. As a healing journey coach who is almost done with her coaching certification, by the way, I'm on the last stretches right now. I'm writing out a business plan. That's a whole nother thing. And I'm going to be finished with my year-long coaching certification program next month. I realize that healing is just a return to self. Many times, what I'm doing when I'm working with Black and West Indian women is giving them the audacity. You see what I did there, audacity? Giving them the permission, giving them the realization that they have agency to create their own life and to understand who they are. And many times, who you are, you were. You already knew her. And somebody told you not to be her. You see what I'm saying? Somebody told you not to be her. And the younger generations all are kind of coming out the gate with this knowledge because of the work the generations like mine have done. But even if you're in the younger generation or you're in my generation, I'm Gen X, by the way. When were you talked out of being yourself? Are you living somebody else's life? Okay, so today what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you some ways that I believe that we are talked out of being ourselves so that you could be aware, because the first step of healing is awareness. Yeah. And then if I have time, I'm going to talk through some strategies, etc., that you could use to return to yourself. Marissa says she was talked out of herself in middle school. Peer pressure, possibly. Developmentally, when you hit that middle school age, is when the desire to be desirable and chosen and conformity starts to come into play, unfortunately. And a lot of people, middle school, turn them every which way but loose. Okay. So I could totally see that being the case. Also, before I go on, I have been neglecting my books. Okay. This year, I started out strong with the book list. I like to highlight a Black woman author, and I read a lot. And I have been neglecting the books because this year it's been a bunch. Okay. I told you guys surgery season was wild. The long short of what's going on with my son right now is he is healing. His surgery happened. It was unsuccessful at first, and then it was successful. And you'll have to stay tuned later to find out all the details about that. Listen, it was the best of times and it was the worst of times. And it was the worst of times first. Okay. It was the worst of times first. And we spent 2 weeks in the hospital. I slept on a chair like I always do. And now he has been home for a week. We had the first follow-up yesterday, and we are doing what we need for him to heal. That's the abbreviated version I'll share with you guys. Anyway, let's talk about books. Healing Wisdom of Africa by Malidoma Patrice Somé. This book, Marissa, I have a bone to pick with you. Marissa, who's in the comment section, okay? Marissa told me to read this book. It took me half the year to get through this book for reasons. Some of it is because my life has been lifing. This is advanced reading, okay? This is not for the pity pat reader. This book is about, how do I succinctly say this? It is a commentary. It says it right here, finding life purpose through nature, ritual, and community. But it's really about contrasting indigenous healing practices with Western healing practices. And it's a super useful book for somebody like myself who is mostly steeped in westernized healing practices, right? Western medicine, but also a Virgin Islander, a Caribbean woman who kind of have a bit more indigenous in me. If you are a person that wants to understand indigenous healing practices and how they play out and just like frameworks and stuff, this is a dense, thick book full of information. Okay. It took me a long time to get through this book, Marissa. And now I'm going to keep it on my bookshelf as reference. Okay. The next thing is the book that I'm working through I'm still trying to get through this one. I've already read it. But I read Million Dollar Action by Rachel Rogers, and now I have the workbook, and I'm working through the workbook 1 month at a time. So this is my current book, if anybody is interested. Okay. Yes, Audacity. He is doing well. We kind of had a little backward movement yesterday when we went to our follow-up from the doctor, but like I said, I'm gonna get into all the details. Nothing horrible. He's downstairs fussing me up and comfortable, like he just had his breakfast, and well, he's good. But thank you. It was a wild ride. It was a wild ride. Okay, let's get to ways that you are talked out of being yourself. The first one is social pressure to conform. And I kind of talked about that when Marissa said that she was talked out of being herself in middle school. Social pressure to conform comes from all sorts of directions, okay? It can be subtle things that family members say to you. I was watching a video yesterday about, it was called The Gray Area, and it was specifically about, let me see, masculine women, I guess. YouTube showed it to me, and listen, I watch, y'all would be amazed if you saw what I'd be watching all kind of stuff. And it specifically, there was a woman who was sharing the story of how up and until middle school, she was living her life like it's golden, being her whole authentic self and dressing how she wanted to. And it wasn't until she went to middle school that she found out that she was different. And apparently she didn't dress like a girl. And then she got dragged out, people would start bullying her and all that kind of stuff. And her entire life, she just started getting this messaging of like, you need to have your hair this way, and you need to wear lip gloss, and you need to change how you're dressing. And her mom kind of forced her to dress a certain way, and she was uncomfortable and yada, yada, yada. And the same thing happens with pretty much everything. You get to a certain point in your life. It can often be middle school, but not always. And there's this social messaging that starts coming to you from family and friends and coworkers and colleagues and listen, church and just society as in general that tells you what you should look like, either subtly, overt or covert, right? They tell you what you should want to do for a living, like what are the acceptable and lauded things to do for a living. They tell you what lifestyle is going to get you the most applause or at least not get you ostracized. They start telling you how your hair should look, what is and isn't presentable and respectable. And we start getting that stuff from young. Like, even if you look at like how little girls' clothes are when they're buying, when their parents are trying to buy clothes for them. Thank you. Thank you very much. Please keep praying, you guys. We are not out of the water yet. We are in the healing stages. Okay. So everyone who is a prayer, I see them prayer hand emojis. And I've been telling people all the time, don't just give me the prayer hand emoji. I'm not saying this to you, Ola. Let me take you off the screen. I'm saying, don't just hit me with the prayer hand emojis and go about your business. Okay. You better open up your mouth and you better shout unto the Lord. Okay. Or source. Okay. Or whoever you be talking to, tell the source. Because I think I knew who to tell the source that we in the healing stage, because his back needs to heal. And it's healing okay on one spot, but it's not healing in the spot that has been the trouble spot his entire life, which is why we kind of had a little regression yesterday. So y'all keep praying, okay? Because we're not out of the woodworks just yet. Amen. All right. Back to social pressure. So I have notes, by the way, because your girl ain't been live for a while. So if my eyes are all over the place, I'm so sorry, you guys. I just wanted to jump back in and get out here. I wrote down, it can include expectations about your career choices, your lifestyle, your appearance, your personal beliefs, your hair, what you eat, etc. For example, somebody might be pressured to not go into what they actually want to do for a living and to get a stable, respectable career, right? So they want to be an artist, but instead they go to law school. Now, let me tell you my story about social pressure to conform, okay? And being talked out of who I am. I am a creative by heart, period. When I was a kid, I look back on what I did naturally. I had a 110 crank camera, which I still have. I need to find that with the flash cubes and put it on my bookshelf behind me. And I used to go around my yard, which was basically like Jumanji Forest Garden, because my dad was a green thumb island man, and I grew up with like all these fruits and stuff growing in my yard. And I used to spend a lot of time outside taking pictures of nature, of flowers, of lizards, of sunlight through the leaves. As a child, that was a good time to me. I have spent my entire life with cameras. And as you can see right now, I'm talking to you on a camera. And I have, thank God, stuck to who I was in that way. Um, I remember being so excited because I got a camera as a gift. And I recently ordered a new microphone for a new endeavor that I'm doing that's supposed to be arriving today. And I could not be more giddy. Okay. However, I used to hand make gifts for friends. I would buy the pieces of things, put them together. Then I started entering art contests. And I have some trauma in that space because the social messaging to conform was rough because I would enter these annual poster contests in my church and I would make the posters out of color pencil, Prismacolor pencil. And apparently the posters were so good that I would win every year. And the one year they said that I could enter, but I couldn't win because I won every year and I had to give the other kids a chance. And I'm tearing up thinking about that because that wounded me in a way that I'm still working through in therapy. Okay. Eventually, I started doing art classes at the museum in the Virgin Islands. And I began doing acrylic painting. And I sold a painting. And I didn't sell that painting because I believed in myself. I sold the painting because I didn't think anybody would buy my painting. And my cousin came to the art class, saw my painting, put a price on it, and one of the senators bought my painting. So I had already been wounded by social messaging in my art. And I have always been a creative. My mom put me in dance classes before I could remember. So I have always been in dance classes growing up, ballet modern, jazz and tap, danced in the Virgin Islands School of Dance, actual performances at Reichel Center my entire life, performances at the museum that I was just telling you about, the Nutcracker Suite, multiple years in a row. I was everything. I was a snowflake. I was a pirate. I was a rat. It was all kind of stuff. Okay. Went to Carnegie Mellon for school and snuck in Dancers Symposium, became a choreographer for Dancers Symposium, and then later became the lead choreographer for my church's dance ministry just by, I guess, default. Like I was there just trying to be one of the dancers, but I can see dancers in my head. Okay. So just so you know, all these pineapples and stuff behind me are indicative of my joy. Pineapples are a symbol of my joy, but I've always been a creative. The messaging that I got, though, thank you, Audacity. And I tear up in saying this because it has taken a lot for that version of me to survive. Because the messaging that I got my whole life was for that version of me, the me that I just described to you, the little girl who would spend hours outside taking pictures of nature with a 110 crank camera and film that she had to go get developed, right? And a flash cube, y'all might be too young for this. Okay, this might be for the old heads. One of those flashes, the little cube, right? I was given the messaging of that's cute, that's nice, but now you need to go get a real job. Mm. Audacity said, I always wanted to be Janet Jackson's background dancer. Yeah, I always wanted to be a whaler, Bob Marley and the Wailers, or like a background singer for any reggae person, any reggae artist. The thing is I can't sing. I'm not gonna say I can't sing. I could sing, but not like I can't sing. You know what I mean? I could be a good solid alto slash tenor, depending on if you're in like regular black church versus barbershop, both of which I've actually sang in choirs. So I'm like a solid choir voice. But I'm not being anybody's like, but I wanted to be the wailer just so I could shoo doo up, shoo up, shoo up, shoo doo doo up, shoo up, shoo. I just wanted to shoo doo doo up. Okay. I just wanted to have a head wrap on, a maxi skirt, a crop top, oil myself up from head to toe, adorn myself with the jewels, and like in synchronicity with two other women, shoo doo doo up. Okay. Something about that was gonna heal my spirit. Doo doo up, doo up, doo up. You know what I'm talking about, Audacity. Listen, I feel like if I get to go behind somebody and shoo doo doo up, I've made it. That's a goal. Hello? Colorful, like just mismatched patterns. You see it. Head wrap, right? You see it. Crop top, maybe like a sheer kimono with tassels on it, a bunch of jewels, rings, lots of rings. Okay. Maxi skirt, barefoot on the stage, two other women next to me, and we have a little choreography. And I get to do up, do up, do up, do up, do up. Man, you want to that's a special kind of heaven. That would have been my heaven. That's my heaven right now. I'm not even going to say that in the past tense. That's my heaven right now. Anyway, I was talked out of all of that. Okay. I was told to go to Carnegie Mellon. I shouldn't say I wasn't told to go to Carnegie Mellon. I was told to go get a respectable job. And so I stopped all of those things, went away to school, went to school for business, got my little business degree, went into the corporate world, and just buckled. Okay. So you want to talk about being talked out of who you are. Okay. Don't that sound amazing, Alicia? You see it. You see what I'm saying? And somebody smells like patchouli. You know what I mean? Me or someone else smells like they've been burning incense at their house because they have. Because they have. Okay. That's some kind of heaven. I could just, I could see it right now. And we singing, and it's like golden hour, and people are out there grooving in front of me. And my whole job is just to synchronize with these women and back up the person in the front. Man, some kind of heaven. Some kind of heaven. Anyway. So the first way that we're talked out of being our true selves and we end up living somebody else's life is succumbing to social pressure. We all do it. But now that you know that it's a thing, the first step of healing is awareness. Okay. Marissa says, reclamation can bring back painful memories. We come here knowing exactly who we are. Well, that's what I'm trying to say. You have to really grieve sometimes for the you that knew, but the you that to feel safe and to feel accepted and to try to get love, right? Chose, and rightfully so, no judgment, chose to shrink herself, to break off pieces of herself, to betray herself, to abandon herself. However, if you're listening to me right now, it means that you have an opportunity to go back and get you. Go get yourself, girl. Go get yourself. It's 2024. Okay. We are not living in a space. There are systems that we have to survive. Yes, that's true. But so much less so than our ancestors. We have the opportunity to go back and get ourselves. And that just makes me so happy. That just makes me so happy. Go get yourself, girl. Go get her. Let her live. Okay. If y'all see me shoo doo doo whopping, even if it's off key, y'all just be happy for me. Okay. Because I've made it. Hello? Because if I was sitting on the 30 something floor of somebody's office building in a very tailored suit with my hair slicked back, but wearing, mild makeup, expensive but subtle, demure, and mindful jewelry, with a briefcase full of papers and a multiple six-figure salary, that would not be success for me. That would be the height of self betrayal. And if I'm being honest, I could have done it. When I tell you I head dove off the conveyor belt, okay? Because I was heading in that direction. Who wants it? But if I am standing on somebody's stage, barefoot in a maxi skirt, with a little bit of my midsection showing, okay? And I put some shimmer, some Fenty all up in here, and there's like a eagle, like a bronze eagle chain, or hello, I have shoo doo doo wopped myself into heaven. Mm. And y'all might get to witness that one day. I don't know if you will, but I'm just saying it. Okay. Oh, you're a corporate dropout as well? Yeah. It wasn't for me. That was somebody else's life. I was literally recreating the life of a loved one, and they saw that as success. I tried to go in that direction, and it wasn't me. And I was like, get me out of here. This is not for me. Okay. Number two way that we are talked out of being who we are: well meaning people giving us unhealthy, misguided advice. Let me tell you something. A person who has betrayed or abandoned themselves is going to give you advice that includes betrayal and abandoning. They're not going to tell you not to do it because they think it's okay. They did it. They're still doing it. They don't know who they are. They are unaware. You have to check the tree before you pick the fruit. I say that to you guys all the time. Don't take counsel from people who have not, one, created what you want, or two, at least been surrounded by other people who have created it. Okay. I've kind of opened up the scope of my thoughts on that because there are people that I will take advice from. Let me say this. I'll listen to them a little bit more because even if they haven't outright created it, they have saturated themselves in the information of people who have. Like, for example, a therapist, right? I don't know if my therapist has created anything because I don't know nothing about my therapist, okay? But I know that my therapist, one, has been taught, and two, has sat there listening to people for years, and they have more information, right? People, psychologists, that kind of stuff. Even a person who interviews people who have done it, like Oprah's an example, right? Oprah has talked to so many people that I might not 100% listen to her if she hasn't created it, but I'm gonna listen to her more than just some well-meaning person just talking out the side of their face. And one of the things that happens as you age and you mature and you choose to mature is you start to discern, should I be taking advice from this person? Because when you first start out, you're bright eyed and bushy tailed. You think everybody has your best interest at heart. And you think just because somebody is a loved one and a elder, they know best. Mm. And then you start, a lot of times you start following that person's advice, and you realize they in the ditch. And the only thing they told you how to do is to fall in the ditch with them. And now both of y'all in the ditch. And now this person is giving you advice on how to navigate the ditch. And you looking at them thinking, we don't want to get out the ditch. Sorry. And often when you start discerning that, you realize that they betrayed themselves. They abandoned themselves. So you have to realize this person's going to give you advice with that being part of the equation. I wrote down, people who care about you will try to offer you advice based off of their own experiences. their own fears, their own limitations, their own capacity to allow self-betrayal and self-abandonment, okay? While these people are well-intentioned, you hope. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. They are well-intentioned. The advice can often, if you don't listen with your listening ears, whose fruit are you picking? Okay? This advice going to steer you away from you and closer to what they doing. Scientific studies show that the 5 people that you spend the most time around, you are basically the culmination of those people. Okay? They're not going to steer you to an authentic you if they don't value authenticity, differentiation, and you being you. Okay? If they value assimilation, conformity, there's only one right way to do a thing, and we all should be on this path doing it. They're not going to give you advice that's going to let you explore the creative you that God created and designed. They're going to put you back on the conveyor belt they are on. And they mean well because they're trying to be safe and they want you to be safe. But you're going to be stared away from your authentic self, right? So, for example, let's say you have a parent who is not good with finances, or they have had financial issues in their past, right? That parent could easily tell a creative child to steer away from creative professions and pursuits because, in their mind, creative careers are guaranteed financial struggles. Artists don't make money, which is one of my huge trauma points. Okay. I heard that so much. I don't want to get into it. Okay. But here's the thing, their purview is limited because, like I said, they're well meaning, but they can only offer advice through their own experiences, through their limitations, through their fear, through their distortions, through their lenses. So if they wanted to be, I don't know, a gymnast, a circus performer, a hairdresser, but instead they became a lawyer, a doctor, an accountant. And they've stuffed their authentic self down for the safety of the conveyor belt. When you go to that person, what do you think they're going to tell you? They're going to steer you away from you. Okay. Let me tell you something. There are people who I know loved me. I know loved me, who literally told me, your real self is just for play. Sometimes you got to stop doing that. And you got to come over here and pick one of these out of these 5 respectable jobs. They said that to me with a straight face. Straight face. Okay. And went to their grave, abandoning themselves, went to their grave, sneaking their creativity under the guise of darkness. And I'm not joking. I'm literally describing someone. And it's heartbreaking to watch. And the advice that they were giving me, although well-meaning, was limited. And I watched them end their time with us here physically. And I don't want to recreate that. I love you, but that don't mean I got to run off the ditch with you. Okay. I don't want it. Alicia said I was told to get a real job and do art on the side. Listen, that was my whole girl. I tried it. Okay. I got the degree from the top school to prove it. I got the degree. Girl, I did the whole thing. Went and got the 4-year degree from the top school with the high GPA, grabbed me a sob and a house and well, I had an apartment first and then eventually a house and a good corporate job with benefits. And I was all of like 21 when I finished. And I was like, I'm done. Is this supposed to be great? And when I tell you I was crying in the parking lot, I was like, ooh, I've been bamboozled. I've been led astray. I've been run amok. And I know there are people right now who probably tune in and be like, I cannot believe this woman is breathing off 50's neck. And all she is doing is piling up pineapples in the back of her. But that is not just a symbol for everyone else to understand what they're getting when they come into my space. That's for me to remember who I am. Okay. Your background says a lot about you. Hopefully, my background is telling y'all that I'm out here trying to reclaim the playfulness that is me. I am an unserious type of person. Okay. I have been through some really crazy things in my life. And when I tell you the joy the jokes never stop. I am just a playful person. I've always been that way. And so I tried to crush myself and push myself down into that box, Alicia, and it girl, it ain't I don't know what to say. It didn't work. It didn't work. Mhm. That's I'm happy that artistic opportunities are becoming more accessible now due to digital advances. Do you agree? Yes, but I also think artistic opportunities. Yes. Let me put a period on that. Absolutely yes. And even before digital art became prolific, artists made money. One of the people who told me artists don't make money over and over my entire upbringing also couldn't answer the question that I asked them when I was a child about a mug. Let me say this. So here's a mug. This is an example, right? Let's say you see this mug. As a child, apparently, I turned to this person and I said, "Who made this mug?" And the person said, "We bought it from the store." And I said, "That's not what I mean. I mean, who decided this mug was going to be pink? And who decided it was going to be this shape? And who decided it was going to have these words on it? And who decided that the handle was going to be like this? And who decided it was going to be out of this material? Who made this mug?" And I remember the adult looking at me and saying, "I have never thought of that in my life." Now, here's the thing. The answer to my question is a product designer did that. You know how I know that? Because when I became an adult, I dated a guy that was a product designer. And those are the decisions that he would make, right? He worked a very well paying job. He would design products with companies, for companies. And then we would go into stores and see the products that he designed, toothbrushes and pizza presses and dishes and all manner of packaging. So the person that was giving me the counsel didn't understand when they were saying artists don't make money that something as basic as the mug they were drinking out of was a way that artists make money. But I, as a child, was seeing the creativity in the thing beyond just I went to the store and picked it up. So I wasn't able to be given pre-digital, the guidance to where a creative person could be making money. Does that make sense? But yes, Audacity, I also agree with you that nowadays it's become more prolific because of the need for digital stuff. But it always existed. It always existed because everyone's sheets are different, everyone's clothes are different, everyone's dishes look different, these glasses are shaped differently, and that was before digital. Somebody was doing that. Those people are creatives. Anyway, the third way that we are talked out of being who we really are, and we could be living somebody else's entire life, is comparison culture. We hit a point in our lives where, if left to our own devices, we are constantly looking at everybody else and trying to bump our life up against everybody else. And social media has really made it horrible. Okay. It's already a natural proclivity that we have, right? Human beings want to fit in because it's safer, right? So to come up higher, almost like in your mind, you have to make choices to be your authentic self. Because if left to your own, like, natural and like visceral feelings, you're going to want to conform to feel safe. Don't stick out too much, stay with the herd. Um, Social media makes it even worse, though, because I'm looking at my notes. We are constantly exposed to other people's lives that in a way that we were never going to see. Okay, y'all was never going to know what I had for breakfast this morning until I posted it on Instagram. And then you're going to see my breakfast and see my dishes and see my fancy coffee maker. And you're going to be like, wait, should I be eating out of the cute dishes and my chip bowl? You start feeling all kind of way about your chip bowl and the mug that you had since you were 5 with Holly Hobby on it. Okay, strawberry shortcake, your strawberry shortcake mug. Okay, and now you got to go to Crate and Barrel because you saw my mugs, right? And then not only do you see other people's lives in a way that you never would have known what was in people's houses and what they, you just the amount of information we have about other people's lives is insane. But we are seeing other people's curated lives. And unfortunately for us, sometimes the brain doesn't know the difference. You're not seeing the fact that right before this video, I had a boom mic arm here and a tripod with a camera here, but I didn't like the shot. So I picked them up and moved them out of the way. And then I should have fixed my paintbrush. I fluffed up these jokers on the chair because I was sitting on them and they were so squished. And I had on 3 different types of glasses, trying to figure out which pair of glasses. And this headband was the other way, but I decided to turn it the other way. And I still don't know if I like how it looked. And there was a blue book. Where is it? There was a blue book sitting here in the shot. And even though I'm cute, it was messing up my color scheme. So I moved it out of shot. Curated. Curated, y'all. But we comparing ourselves to people's curated lives. So not only do we have too much information and we are naturally bent toward comparison, we are comparing ourselves to a version of this person's life they ain't even living. Come on now. So this can lead to harmful comparisons, obviously, and a feeling of discontentment with who we actually are and the need to live our lives differently to become what we see that we perceive is better somehow. And now you're wasting your time, right? You're going to start questioning your choices. You're going to start questioning what you like. You're going to start having 17 options in front of you for something that you were perfectly content with until you saw the 17 options. You love your strawberry shortcake mug. Okay. Why are you in Crate and Barrel about to spend $250 on dishes and silverware and placemats when strawberry shortcake is doing it for you? You start questioning your appearance, right? I think they said that when the pandemic hit, also plastic surgery went up in numbers because so many people were sitting in front of computers seeing themselves and seeing other people and being like, whoa, and then going to plastic surgeons and telling them to change their bodies and faces. Comparison culture talks you out of being your real self. You start comparing yourself to the perceived success of other people. So instead of working your life out so you can get what you deem as success, not what other people say is success. And that's a whole nother thing because half of us don't even know what we want. Sorry, that was a little spicy. Let me pull. No, I was gonna pull it back, but listen. I'll say more before I take it away. Okay. You out here chasing a success you don't even want. Girl, close Instagram. Close it. The comparisons are unrealistic, they're unhelpful, and ultimately you waste time heading in a direction to create a life that is not yours. When you are finished and you at home eating out your Crate and Barrel dishes, you want your strawberry shortcake plate. Strawberry shortcake plate brought you joy. Okay? Strawberry shortcake plate been rocking with you since 1982. Because back then stuff was built for tough. Built for tough. Okay. You got the Flintstone glasses set that's been lit. That suckers don't break. Okay. And you like to drink out of your Betty mug. You like orange juice in the Betty mug every morning. You get on Instagram and you find out that the new thing is a Kardashian fill in the blank drink mug set. Double hulled drink mug set. That's what the cool girls are wearing. That's what the cool girls are drinking out of. So here you go spending all your money to give to the Kardashians who rich enough. You ain't got no money. Okay. Knowing good and full well that your Betty Flintstone's glass set is your real you. Boo boo. Let Kim and Chloe and all of them, let them do what they doing. Go keep your glasses. Be yourself. I don't know how I got over here. Seriously. Marissa said in the filters, that's the other thing. Nowadays, you don't even know what somebody's real face is. There are accounts right now where people never post. Can I change my settings? Look here. People never post their real face. Okay, let me show you. Let me see. I don't know how this works because I never have it on. There's a touch up my appearance, and I guess it's a StreamYard. Okay, I just clicked it. I want to see what it's gonna do. Ooh, let me look. Tell me if I'm changing. This says subtle. This says no. That was very subtle. This is very subtle. Subtle. Ooh, come on, skin smoothing. Moderate. Wait a minute. Do you see that? It looks like I'm wearing foundation all of a sudden. Strong. Very strong. Now imagine if I'm sitting here with touch up my appearance. Look at that. Let me go down. That's off. This is all the way up. You see how it blurs my face? Now imagine if I'm out here on StreamYard catfishing y'all. Let me turn it off. How do I close this? Imagine if I'm out here on StreamYard catfishing y'all, and y'all like, ooh, Rushni's skin, ooh, Rushni's skin, ooh, Rushni's skin. And it's a filter. So you out here going to the plastic surgeon and buying every makeup that I try to sell you. And ain't no makeup that could ever ain't no skincare that can make you do that because it is digitally enhanced. Okay? Digitally enhanced. Come on now. Come on. Marissa said, I still got my Hercules dish set that I eat off of whenever I go home. I have a favorite spoon downstairs. Something about the shape and the handle. It's spoon perfection. You got it. Now, I'm not telling you not to get new stuff. I'm telling you that if the new stuff is what you want in your whole life and not because you're comparing it to other people, you need to go get it. Let me tell you about some dishes that I went and got. Okay. I used to be big on eating at the bread company, which is Panera, St. Louis Bread Company. I'm in St. Louis. And they would serve you their salads in like these bowl plates. So, like a big wide bowl plate. And I don't eat at bread company that much anymore because I do keto, but I kind of miss the bowl plates. Like the bowl plates kind of made me feel like, I'm fancy. So I bought myself a set with the bowl plates. I have a bowl plate set now. And some nowadays, the other day I had brisket and sheet pan roasted vegetables. And I put them in the little bowl plate. And I sat there and I was like, it just made me feel like I was about to eat my food. Okay. Also, if the strawberry shortcake and the Flintstones Betty Glass do it for you, stay off Instagram spending your money to keep up with the Joneses and the Jenkins because the Joneses and the Jenkins can't keep up with themselves. It's a lie. It's all a lie. Okay. Anyway, so the fourth way that we are talked out of being who we truly are is fear-based decision making. Other people emphasize risks, failure, fear, etc., and leading your decision making from a place of fear means that you are always going to be running away from something instead of running toward yourself. It's a lie. It's all a lie, girl. I mean, so many assumptions are made watching people on the internet. And I be trying to bring realness, but even sometimes I got to curate it a little bit. You know what I mean? But still, one of the things that I have had contempt with over the years, and even my therapist has had to work with me on this, is just how superficial the whole thing is. Because I am absolutely one of the people that has used the internet for connection over the years. There are people who use the internet for connection. There are people who use social media for the social part of the media. And I am absolutely one of those people. I'm not saying it's better or worse. I'm just saying it is. And so being a person who is seminal on the internet, and as a seminal person on the internet, my primary reason for being out here is to find my people and socially commune with my people. It's been that way when I was talking about natural hair. It's all of it. It's always that. I have had stark contempt for how superficial this whole thing became. And listen, my therapist and I have talked through this a lot, okay? And they have gotten me to a more balanced way of looking at it. And still. Anyway, fair-based decision making. I didn't get into that. If every single time you make a decision, you are looking through the lens of is it a risk? Am I going to fail? Um, am I going to, am I then you're never going to make a decision that aims you towards yourself. Okay? For example, are you choosing the safest place to live? And let me say this. I don't mean safe as in you are free from harm. I'm not saying that. You should curate a life where you are free from harm. I mean safe as in the place that is the least friction from a social commentary standpoint. Your mother's not going to say anything about it, right? You live in your run of the mill Midwestern McMansion in a generica suburb because that's going to make it's safe. It's the safe choice, right? But you really want to live in a house with a courtyard in the south of Spain. Did I just tell on myself? I did. It's me. It's me. Listen, I have not yet achieved, okay, y'all, but I pressed toward the mark. Am I living my whole life? No. Okay. I felt a little like I told on myself just there, but I'm moving in the direction. Okay. God bless it. Are you making every decision from, is it safe from the vantage point of you don't have to hear other people's mouth? So if your hair fried, dyed, and laid to the side, not because you want your hair to be fried, dyed, and laid to the side, you want orange locks. But you don't want to hear your aunt mouth about the orange locks. Listen, Marissa, I heard myself say what I said, and then I was like, "Ooh, wait, that's me. I want to live in a courtyard house in Spain. I want it. Okay." And I want to have like a couple times a week, I get to shoo doo doo up, do up, do. And I don't know if people do shoo doo doo up in Spain, but listen, I could shoo doo doo up. I don't need to have 8,000 people shoo doo doo whopping. Okay. I just need to have a few people shoo doo whopping for my heaven to exist. And I was like, ooh, that was me. Forget y'all. Okay. I'm talking to myself. Hold up. Okay. So is it safe? Every decision you make is because it's safe. You dress that way because it's safe. You go into the store, you see a pair of polka dot pants, you don't buy them because you don't want to draw too much attention to yourself, even though you going to sleep at night thinking about these polka dot pants because you really know that's how you want to be dressed. You want orange locks, but your hair is fried, dyed, and laid to the side because you're afraid of the life that you would have to live expressing yourself with orange locks. You're afraid. You're fearful. You're fearful. You want to wear big hoop earrings, but you decide to wear small stud earrings because of the message the hoop earrings send. And you really want to be driving a lime green Volkswagen Bug. Okay. But you and your navy blue Toyota Corolla makes you sorrowful every single time because your mom said that's a good, sensible car. Right. And so every decision you make is a fear-based decision. Right. I said you go to a safe job over risky, what you perceive as risky, or even becoming an entrepreneur or a creative because you want to avoid certain things that you think will get you rejected. But let me ask you this, and I think I've said this on a previous video. If a person will reject you because you are yourself, why do you want that person in your life? Instead of trying to conform into a version of you that will potentially get love, when you break off enough pieces of yourself? Why not just be yourself and allow those that are drawn to the authentic you to find you? If they don't want you because you are you, they're not for you. And that goes for everybody. Okay, friends, family, colleague, church, everybody. Everybody could get the smoke at this point. Okay. I'm too old, y'all. I'm getting too old. Everybody could get this smoke. I had to ask myself that question. If a person doesn't want me, if I'm going to be rejected by you because I am being myself, then we are not aligned. You are either not supposed to be in my life at all, or you are in an inappropriate role in my life. You have too much access to me, and I need to bump you out from the Holy of Holies or the inner court. You might be an out of court kind of person at this point. Because people who love and care for me want me to be myself. Period. Okay. Anyway, the fifth way that we are talked out of ourselves, talked out of being who we are, and we end up living somebody else's life is imposter syndrome and people who reinforce our imposter syndrome. Okay. External doubt or criticism can exacerbate our feelings of inadequacy. It makes us question our abilities and our right to pursue goals that we know align with ourselves, right? It's common in settings, family settings, unfortunately. Whew, some of us are blessed with beautiful families that are encouraging of the endeavors that we naturally want to undertake. But many of us have to survive the reinforcement of imposter syndrome from our family of origin. You think you're not 100% developed yet. You feel an inkling to be, do whatever. And here come the people telling you, no, absolutely not. You getting hit with a prophet is a prophet is without honor in their own land. Who do you think you are? You can't do that. We don't do that. People from here don't do that. They don't become this, that, or the other. You want to be a musician? That's ridiculous. A basketball player? That's unheard of. You want to become a lawyer? We don't do lawyer. We aren't lawyer people. And so you got an inkling of imposter syndrome. And then here they come flapping their hot mouth telling you that they agree with the fact that you're an imposter. That's what I mean by people reinforcing. That's how you get talked out of it. Talked out of it. You love. You're welcome. Listen, I'm trying to help people. I'm trying to help myself too. Okay. But thank you for that. Okay. And so we're talked out of ourselves because our imposter syndrome exists and is exacerbated by the reinforcement of people telling us that you're a fraud and you can't do the thing. But let me tell you something. If something keeps chomping at you and you just keep spinning in your mind, this is actually who I am. This is how I want to show up in the world. This is how I want to dress. This is where I want to live. This is how I want to eat. This is what I want to do for a living. This is what my creative pursuits are. This is how I want to spend my days. And you can't, and it just keeps going. But you have external voices that are reinforcing to you that you cannot. Remove the external voices and get into spaces that tell you that you can. That is not the time to abandon yourself. That is a time to abandon the people abandoning you. Let me hydrate on that. People who think they can't are going to tell you you can't too. You got to get around people who think that they can. You got to get around, surround yourself. You are mispositioned, is the word I'm saying. You are in the wrong place. You are in the wrong place. Okay? Anybody fueling your imposter syndrome is not looking out for your best interest. They're going to tell you they're trying to keep you safe, but what they are doing is keeping you where they are, which is in a stunted and stagnant place that is not the embodiment of an authentic life. There's a Instagram quote. Every once in a while, an Instagram quote will jump out at me and stick in my brain. And there's one that says, "A creative adult is a child that survived." So many people lose their capacity to bring something out of nothing, or bring something to the external world that's in the internal world, right? So it might not only be something out of nowhere, but it's you saw it inside of you first, and then you brought it out here to the rest of us. You see it before we see it, right? So many people are stunted in their ability to bring forth things from their internal world to their external world by a bunch of reinforcements, people telling them they can. But girl, if that person thinks they can't do it, let me tell y'all one of the freest things that's ever freed me. 2 words: for you. When people tell me something can't be done or something is impossible, in my head, and listen, I'm not gonna lie, I'm working on it. God told me to behave. I say it out loud sometimes. They'll say something to me, and in my head, I'll be like, for you. I'm trying to free y'all up. It'll free you if you let it, okay? They are telling you what their lens is. They're not telling you what's possible. They're they're telling you what their lens is. Everyone, including me, right? For you is what I say in my head, and then I just go about my business. Okay. So anyway, I'm on the hour, but I'm just gonna list off. First of all, if you like this video, hit the like button. I always forget to say that, and share this video if you think that this will be helpful for someone on their healing journey. I'm going to share with you guys really quickly. I'm not going to go into all these different ways that you can stay true to yourself. Okay. I have a list. I'm going to just read off my list. So if you're ever watching this again and you want to go deeper, here's a quick list, right? The first way that you can stay true to yourself is practicing intentional self reflection. Take time to check in with you. Many times when you are a person that's talked out of who you are, you become hyper vigilant, scanning other people for whether or not you are okay and whether you are approved. Listen, I'm not going to knock you for that. That is a viable survival mechanism that a child comes up with. The youthful version of you used that to stay safe, and she survived. I applaud her for that. I celebrate her for that. And when we become an adult, we put away childish things. Putting away as an intentional action. Putting away is intentional action. You put away the childish thing. So now that you hear me saying it, I am offering you an opportunity to intentionally choose to put away, yeah, externally scanning to make sure you're okay. Check in with yourself if you're okay. That's how you start. Big girls and big boys do that. Mature people, it's a practice that you learn over time. You have to unlearn the way you were doing it. You got to put it away and you got to learn a new way. What does that look like, Rashni? It looks like sitting still and doing body scans, feeling like how you actually feel in your body. It looks like going to feelingswheel.com and learning vocabulary about how to describe your feelings to yourself and others. It looks like a practice of journaling, whether it is writing in a journal your thoughts to explore them, filming videos to journal. It looks like a practice of others meditating, sitting quietly, allowing your thoughts to come in your head and noticing them, teaching yourself to observe your own thoughts, like metacognition, to think about your thoughts so that you realize that you are not your thoughts, right? That's what that looks like, self-reflection. Okay, move on, Rashni. Second way that you start being true to yourself is you have to set boundaries. You have to set boundaries. You have to set boundaries. I have an entire course in my coaching membership about how to define and set boundaries, what the styles and types of boundaries are, and how to heal from different boundary violations, how to notice different boundary violations, I have boundary scripts, the whole shebang. Okay. ThePineappleCrowns.com. I don't even have my stuff on the screen. Let me see. Can I turn the stuff on? I've been sitting here running my mouth. Am I not able to? Give me a second, you guys. Oh, I think it's under here. Hey, look, I didn't even have my name and stuff. ThePineappleCrowns.com. Go there. And you can either join the membership, it's actually open right now, or you can actually just get the boundary course. You can get that solo dolo. Okay. You have to learn the borders of yourself and others. You have to learn what your yes and your no looks like. To be able to say yes to self and no to things that are not aligned with self, you have to know what that is. Okay. And you have to be able to set expectations and communicate them. The third way that you stay more true to yourself is you got to be self compassionate. Talk nice to you. Start to treat yourself with the same kindness that you treat other people. Give yourself the same grace that you give somebody else who is learning and growing. This idea that we are supposed to come out of our mother's wombs perfect and know everything is a standard that we only hold ourselves to. That is not true. Every single one of us, as we live, there is always an opportunity to grow. And the expectation is that we are going to flub up and figure it out and keep moving. So talk nice to yourself. What you would say to a friend who had the exact same oopsie experience, learn to say that to yourself. Recognize that you are a human being, you are not a robot. Okay. And making perceived mistakes and perceived failures is literally called life. That's your life, girl, with all the little nicks and cuts in it. That's 100% you. The fourth way that you stay more true to yourself and you get on the path of living your own life is to intensely seek out supportive relationships and community. I touched on that before when I said you might be in the wrong environment if you are in an environment that keeps dissuading you from things that align with self. Surround yourself with intention. Look for them, because people who seek find. Look for them. People who encourage you to be authentic and respect your choices. They celebrate when you show up more as yourself. And let me tell you what, when you're a person who has been surrounded by people that keep telling you to shrink yourself and break off pieces of yourself for their comfort, okay? Because I don't care if they are, we always like to talk about the comfort of people in a system, but even in like family systems, church systems, there are a lot of people giving you messages about not being yourself because they need to, that's how they regulate themselves. We off that, okay? There are people that exist that celebrate when you show up as you. You might not think it because if you've only been surrounded by people that don't, that's all you know. But I'm telling you right now, as a person who has intentionally been basically amassing human beings like that for the past few years, they exist. We exist. I am one of them. It's me, we exist. Okay. Surround yourself with people that support your desire to live a more authentic life. Limit social media consumption. Now, I am on social media telling you to limit social media consumption. Listen, I need you to figure that out on your own, okay? I'm just saying limit it, or at least choose ways to be more mindful about what you are consuming and how it affects your self-perception. And take breaks when you need it. Okay? Because like I told you before, social media is really inundating us with way too much information all at once and way too much purview into other people's lives. Okay. Celebrate places where you notice that you're unique, especially if you are a person who, whenever you figured out that you didn't fit in with the crowd, you learned how to shrink and hide that for reasons. Flip it, smack it up, flip it and reverse it, like Missy said. Okay. Start to celebrate the fact that you're the only person that sees a thing a certain way. Get excited when you discover qualities that make you different from other people. Instead of trying to fit in, fit out. I don't know if that's how you say it, but you understand what I'm saying. And get excited about it. Okay. Another way that you can be more true to yourself and start living your own life is challenging your negative self talk. We talked about that, right? When you start hearing yourself talking to yourself wild and crazy, more times than not, that voice is the voice of somebody externalized from your past that you have now internalized. So remember I said self-reflection. Sit there and be like, who is talking to me right now? Is that my gym teacher from middle school? Is that my mom? Is that my grandmother? That kid that used to bully me when I was in 8th grade? Is that my friend's mom who said that off-putting thing to me at the slumber party that I never forgot? Hello, my story. Hello? And then you have to challenge it, right? Remember I told you put away childish things? The adult version of you now can sit back and be like, wait a minute. This negative thought pattern that I have been constantly playing in my head needs to be replaced with something that's actually healthier and more balanced and realistic, because the person who said it to me, they were broken and I didn't want what they had anyway. Okay. So you can challenge that. Another way is to, how do I say, commit to continuously growing. And I don't want to say, okay, let me pull that back. You are enough right now as is. So I don't, there can be an addiction, and I have been in this space before, and thank God I'm not in it anymore. I'm definitely out of this space. But when you find out that a lot of the negative outcomes in your life are coming from all these unhealthy places, and you're a person like me that has like a people pleaser, fixer type of bent, you can swing so heavily into the other direction that you spend your entire day trying to fix you. You go from trying to fix other people to fix you. But if you see yourself through the lens of needing to be fixed all the time, that is not what I'm saying. But I am saying always have a low level desire to show up as the best version of you today. You know, Octavia Rahim was talking to us about 1% more relaxed in her talks for Exodus Summit a couple years ago. And I took that on and decided that this year I was going to be 1% more Rushni every day. And that 1% more Rushni meant more growth, just a little bit more of who I know I'm supposed to show up as, just a little bit more authentic every single day, right? So pursue a growth mindset that doesn't make you think that you have to fix yourself, but puts you in the mind of continuously like filling in your skin is how I see it. It's like I'm filling in the Rushni suit. I don't know if that makes any sense. Okay. I'm constantly aligning with my interests and my values. Okay, if you've done my planning retreat before, I'm constantly filling in the crevices of my identity that I might have abandoned or I might not have explored. The next one is, okay, I said I was going to be quick, and I don't know if this is quick. I wrote down, I'm going to just read. Practicing mindfulness, learning to bring yourself back to the present to avoid getting caught up in other people's expectations, in being hyper vigilant, in fixating on future imaginations and anxiety. And let me tell you what, when I'm not going to that, I was about to say something, but later, okay? Another way that you can become more authentic and that you can stay true to yourself is regularly reassessing your goals, regularly reassessing where you are going, regularly reassessing what you are creating. As you grow, as you change, as you learn, you want to always make sure that the choices and the actions that you are making are actually taking you in the direction of you. And especially if you're a person who has spent their entire life bending towards something else that somebody else told you you're supposed to be looking at, being, becoming, if you don't pay attention, you can easily just default back to that. I was literally just having a conversation about that yesterday with somebody. And so don't default back to that, is what I'm saying. Next is, and this is the most important one, you have to become comfortable being uncomfortable. I put embrace discomfort. Recognize that staying true to yourself can oftentimes be uncomfortable. Not always, at first, right? But it's a sign of growth. You know why? Because, like I said, you have been trained to do A your entire life, to go down the system and get the applause, the safe applause. You're in a safe house wearing safe clothes with a safe haircut and a safe hair color, eating the food everybody tells you you're supposed to be eating, and you want to be a goat farmer. Who is it that didn't like when I said the goat? Listen, you want to be a goat farmer, okay? So changing your life, leaving your job, and making the choices that you have to make to become a goat farmer are going to feel uncomfortable. Don't stop when something feels uncomfortable, because your comfort zone is the zone of self-betrayal. So self-alignment and living your own life is going to feel uncomfortable at first. At first. But let me tell you something. As somebody who is actively doing these very things in real time right now, like in real time, these things are happening for me right now. It's uncomfortable at first because you're not used to it, but something about it feels familiar and right. And eventually that discomfort goes away. And the satisfaction of knowing that the choice that you are making is from your own life, your own true self, makes that discomfort dissipate. So anyway, hopefully that helped you. If you are a person that feels like you are living somebody else's life, hopefully the information I shared will be helpful for you. Also, yes, goat. Somebody was laughing at me about how I was talking about a goat farmer, but Yeah, that 1% more you has been changing my life because trying to do a big swing toward yourself can feel daunting. But just showing up 1% more today, just saying one more bound, telling one more person no, you know what I mean? Choosing to put on one different thing a different necklace, you know, it feels right. It feels so doable. Okay, so let me go into this. I have, like I said, I'm a coach for Black and West Indian women on a healing journey. And two things I want to share with you guys. The first thing is my coaching membership is reopened, and our next coaching membership group call is this coming Sunday. Okay. If you would like to join us on that call, if you are a Black woman on a healing journey and you would like to rewrite your story, heal your life, and you want to get off of the conveyor belt rat race and you need some help with like-minded Black women and me as your coach, thepineapplecrowns.com. It is a link on the screen and it is in the information box of this video. Okay. Um, I am finishing up, I'm looking at it right now. I'm finishing up my coaching certification. And the timing is perfect in that we also just got out of what I've been calling surgery season, meaning my son's surgery is complete and now we are in the healing stages. Yes. I was, I intentionally created my membership in a very asynchronous and hands off way because my membership started in April. I thought surgery was going to be in May. And I thought I was going to be able to make all these changes and be a lot more hands on after May. It kept moving, surgery kept moving. We are in October. And now I am able to start creating a more, some synchronous offerings in my coaching membership and making things a little bit more hands-on. And that is going to, I'll share more about it as it comes up. However, right now, the membership is still open. I was tweaking the website yesterday. If you want to go out there, you heard me talk about there's courses about identity work, figuring out the answer to who you are. There's courses about how to heal your mother wound. There's a course about boundary setting, holistic and healthy productivity, and building discipline and self-trust. There's also a monthly coaching call, like I said, that's happening this Monday. And part of my coaching certification is I am reworking my coaching membership. It's literally my practicum, my integrative lab thing that I have to do for the end. And so I'm rewriting my business plan so that I can take what I've learned this year, post-surgery season, and reevaluate and improve my coaching membership. So I'm super excited about that. If you want to join, the next call is this Monday, thepineapplecrowns.com. There is more to come. I am planning it out right now. And let me see. There's a few more things I wanted to say. Let me close this. There are a few more things I wanted to say. Give me a second, you guys. Oh, let me tell you one thing, and then I got to go because I actually have a call in like 8 minutes. I have a call in like 8 minutes. Okay. The second thing I wanted to say is you heard me say earlier that I bought myself a pink microphone. I bought myself a pink microphone for a new endeavor that I'm going to try to do. If the microphone shows up today, I'm probably going to do it. I am considering doing a new podcast / video series. It's going to have a video series, right? Which is why there was a boom arm and a mic and a camera right here. And that's where I'm going to cover. I was trying to think about what to say. And that's where I'm going to cover more details about what happened with my son. I figured the best way to like set it off, I suggest y'all, set it off, I suggest y'all, set it off. Y'all too young to remember. Set it off on the left, y'all. Anyway, I have a call in 7 minutes. So stay tuned because even though I'm not 100% there yet, I think I'm going to work on that soon. I might be recording tomorrow. Okay. Right now in my mind, I don't have it fully worked out yet. Instagram is going to get like 20, 30, the beginning of it live, and I'm going to cut them off. Patreon is going to get to record with me live. That's what I have in my brain. So if you are interested in being on the recording live, when I'm recording my new thing, the first episode is going to talk about why I'm doing the new thing and also talk about my son's surgery. Become a patron. That's what I'm trying to get out of my brain. At patreon.com/glamazini. It is in the information box down below. Not only that, That money from Patreon is half that money is supporting me as a creator. The other half is going into a fund that I have right now that has about $500 in it from this year to support another Black woman on her healing journey. Okay. It's been slow coming because your girl is out here working out surgery season, but she's figuring it out. Amen. So patreon.com/glamazini. Come over there and support me and also be able to join the new endeavor called Live in the comment section and chop it up with me. I think it will be a really fun time. Okay. Oh, you guys were singing with me. From start to flame, your love will grow into a fire. Okay, I gotta go. Yeah, I gotta call in 6 minutes. Okay. And then I just stopped. 6 minutes, doggy fresh, and you're on. Okay. I love you guys. I gotta go. As y'all say, I got a song for everything. Be well. Be encouraged, you guys. Here's a pineapple. Bye. From start to flame, your love will grow into a fire.